Hello everyone, welcome to this teleconference past times. Okay, well, I think that we have waited enough for next year, so I think we can begin with these activities. So, I hope that you're okay today. And well, a simple question for you all. Do you prefer me to speak in English or to speak in Spanish? Please say yes or no. Yes for English, no for Spanish, please. Okay, then you have the question. Well, I think that I proceed in English as I didn't have any answer from you. Okay, well, the purpose for today's session is to speak about past events, things that happened in the past, not in this moment. So in a way, it's different to the things that we have explored before, because this is the past tense. So, when do you use it? We use it for talking about past actions, so things that happened in a concrete, in a specific moment in the past. So, if you check here, we can say, yeah, this was yesterday. They talked yesterday. He walked to his office. So, but that is past. It's not now, it's in the past. So, when you want to talk about this past thing, it's rather simple, it's rather easy, because what you're going to do is that you're going to add an ed. So you have the verb in present, and you add ed. Well, but as usual, we have some exceptions. So the exceptions are, for example, you have the verbs that end in e. Well, in that case, you don't have to double the e. You just add d. Arrive, arrived. Okay, so you have it. But there are some combinations, like in this case, that you have a combination of consonant, vowel, and consonant sounds. When you have this decimal combination, what you do is that you double the last consonant and add ed. Travel is an exception, but it's more like American thing. Travel and prefer. But this is for simple past tense. And there is a thing that is important. We have regular and irregular verbs in past. In this case, all of these verbs are regular. They are regular because they follow a rule. The rule says add ed to the end. That's the rule. That's why they are regular, because they follow a rule. But let's continue. Here we have a verb that is irregular. What is that irregular verb? The verb to be. But why is that irregular? Do you remember that we said that the regular verbs are the ones that you add ed? in this case, you are not adding ed. You are changing the complete form of the verb. So you notice that you don't say did. You don't say did. What you say? Was. Was. That's what you say. Was. So that is very important. And this verb is particular because it has two forms in past. Was y were. Was is used when you want to talk about singular things. I was, she was, it was, and that's it. And he was, I forgot. And he was. But everything is singular. So, remember, was is singular. I, he, she, and it. Whereas, were is used for plural. For plural. We, they, and you. But you is both singular and plural. That's why you use it with were. But check that here, you say that, the verb to be means ser, estar, or tener. But check that something that happens in English. Tener is have. Don't forget that. It's not be. Well, now, I want to make questions. How do I make questions? First, you need to use an auxiliary. The auxiliary is did. That is auxiliary you use in the past tense. Then the subject, and then the verb in infinitive. In other words, you don't use the verb in past because you have auxiliary. All the time that you have did as an auxiliary, the verb is in present. Don't forget that. Well, here you're going to try something very little. You're going to try to remember. You're going to try to remember the verb to be, was and were. So you're going to do something very easy. You're going to have the chalkboard here enabled, so you can start making links. So what I want you to do is to use the tools you have on your screen in order to connect the verb to be with the corresponding subject pronoun. Okay, you can use the chalkboard that is enabled for example. Oh Jesus, what I did. Huh? What have we here? Okay. So, there for example, was. I want to say, I was. That's it. But that is something that I want you to do with the chalkboard. You have the tools enabled, please. Very good. Okay, let's check. Excellent. So, it was. But here you don't say, you was, no. You say, you were. They were. You were, she was, I was, and he was. Excellent, excellent. Okay, now let's continue. So, when we are having this activity, you notice that you have the verbs in past. For example, like at the verb work. So, I work, you work, he worked, they work, she worked, he worked, it worked. I have the negative form. I didn't work, you didn't work, we didn't work, they didn't work, she didn't work, he didn't work, it didn't work. Didn't is the negative. Notice that the verb doesn't change. You are not adding the ed. You are not adding the ed. But in the question, it's different. Because in the question, you're going to use first the auxiliary. First, you move it to the front. Then you have the subject, and then you have the verb. The verb in infinitive. Don't forget that. So, as I told you before, we have two kinds of verbs. Regular and irregular. So the regular verbs are those ones in which you add ed. Dance, danced. Irregular are, for example, the verb to be. Be, was, were. Or sing and sang. No sing it. It's sang because they are irregular. So, there are many forms of the verbs. So, this is something that we're going to do together. So here, you're going to have, once again, enable the chalkboard, and we're going to try to check this. What are the verbs in the past form? So you have the chalk enabled that. You have some tools here on your left part of the screen, and you can complete the spaces. Okay, we're going to check. So that's right. He wrote his homework last Sunday. Mary didn't. But remember, when you have didn't, we have to also include the verb. Didn't go. Did you play basketball 2 weeks ago? That's right. I studied French last year. I bought. Bought is an irregular verb. And you flight last month. John took, once and once again, another irregular verb. His driving test yesterday, but he didn't. And here we need to include the verb. The verb. He didn't pass it. Tim went to Paris last summer. Did your parents? But here we have something, because the past of meet is not meet. It's met. Did your parents met at university? When I was a child, very good. I spoke German, very good. Seen is another verb that is irregular. And we don't say seen, because that is a past participle. The past is saw. We saw him yesterday, but he didn't. He didn't see. I have to include. He didn't see us. Very good. Very good. Well, here you can have a little irregular verbs table. As you notice, there are many irregular verbs. There are like around 140. But the ones that you want to use the most are like a 20. So don't worry. And these are something that you can learn by heart and by your practice. Okay, well. So that's right, okay? So it was nice to have this activity with you. But now, I would like to know if you have any question. Okay, well, now, what I'm going to do is that you're going to see some little things about this week's activities. Remember that we are on the week, on the learning activity number 2. So, when you're in the course, you're going to notice that you have this information. Remember, the announcements are the way that we have in order to communicate activities. So, this is the announcement. So, we have to go to Program Materials, Training Materials, click here to watch the multimedia version. This is the path of learning, and this is the path for sending the activities. So, let's try to do it. Remember, Program Materials, that's in Program Materials. I'm sorry about my internet, it's not like the best. I'm trying to change it. No way. Okay, good. So that you have training materials, and you have the training material and activities too. Notice that everything is here. The thing is like I just move it in order. So from Tuesday on, you're going to have the 3 in top, and there we're going to be moving them. But and nothing is erased. Training material, click in there, and here to watch the multimedia version. Well, while it loads, we can be checking other things. Remember that you have the activities here. So the same. The other ones are here below. They are still there. There are some activities. One that is called what I did yesterday, the interactive one, the memorable moments, and the blog. So, as you notice, it's getting easier and easier. So, here you have a little format. It's a Word document. In this Word document, you have a series of activities. What is the idea? You have to think about what you did yesterday, and you have to use the ones that you did. Remember to use them in past, according to what we saw in the teleconference. In this interactive activity is something similar to the ones you did before. Remember, you have many attempts. to do it. In memorable moments, this is an audio recording. It's audio. So please, what I need you is to send me an MP3 file, or well, mostly any kind of audio file, and I can listen to it and I can forward it. In here, in this blog, February vacation, remember, all the time you download the file. And you write in a blog, in the blog that is provided here. You don't have to create an external blog, nothing. You just create it. How? Click on it. And notice here. And you write in here. Please, use only text. Only use text. Don't attach documents. It's not necessary. What I need you is the text. Okay, so only text and attach images. Don't attach Word documents. And you publish it. I'm not going to do it because it's not necessary. Well, this is not working in my Explorer. Well, that is the idea. Well, you know how to work this. I don't know what is wrong with my internet. But, recommendations. Little recommendations, guys. Pequeñas recomendaciones. Primera, recuerden que las evidencias, todas las evidencias están disponibles del curso, todas. Ustedes, en caso de que una evidencia no sea aprobada, no quiere decir que la nota quedó no aprobada y listo, no. Quiere decir que la puedes mejorar. Todas las evidencias tienen nuevos intentos, todas. Entonces, una vez tú la realizas, tú puedes realizarla nuevamente a fin de mejorarla en caso de que no sea aprobatoria. Revisemos en el enlace MyGrades dos cosas. Uno, la retroalimentación general es importante. Y la retroalimentación específica, que es la que yo veo sobre el documento. Para hacer esto, tengo que ingresar a MyGrades y hago clic en lo que envié. Al hacer clic en lo que envié, ahí puedo ver la pantalla, los comentarios. Los comentarios son anotaciones que se hacen sobre el documento. Es una herramienta que puedo utilizar yo para mejorarlas. Recuerden que el objetivo de esto es la mejora continua. Y para mejorar continuamente, pues es necesario estar continuamente revisando las evidencias. Entonces, esa es mi invitación, chicos. Realicemos actividades con ciencia, con tranquilidad. No hay tanto afán, pero siempre inicien por problemas, chicos. Siempre, 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 siempre. Creo que hay una pequeña incompatibilidad con mi explorador. Creo que esta versión es de 64 bits. Les confirmo. Señor, es de 64 bits y creo que por eso es inconveniente. Entonces recuerden que pueden utilizar ustedes otros exploradores, no únicamente el explorador Chrome. Pueden utilizar Internet Explorer, Edge, pueden utilizar Mozilla para las diferentes actividades. Entonces, recuerden que ustedes tienen acceso a dudas, preguntas, inconvenientes. Ustedes las tienen por qué enlace. Por el enlace de foros, por preguntas y por preguntas. Entonces, bueno, vamos a hacer lo siguiente ahora. Voy a habilitar un momento. Listo. Voy a habilitar entonces para que ustedes me comenten si tienen alguna duda o inquietud. Recuerden que alzan la mano y yo les cedo el micrófono. Ok, Marta, tienes el micrófono habilitado en este momento. Escucho, Marta. Martha is asking, are there an order to learn a list of irregular verbs and irregular verbs or only to memorize? No hay orden. No hay orden porque igual al ser irregulares no siguen una regla. Esa es la principal dificultad que tienen de los irregulares. Pero bueno, ¿qué se puede hacer en ese caso? Tú vas a ver que poco a poco, entre más practiquemos, lo vamos asimilando. Y vamos a asimilar que alrededor, vamos a utilizar tu alrededor de 20, que son los más comunes. Hay otros verbos que son muy complicados porque casi nunca se usan. Casi nunca se usan, pero por práctica lo vas a aprender. La recomendación, ¿cuál es? Aprenderlos de los ejercicios. Si tú quieres, puedes tomar la tabla y empezar a aprendértelos. Pero igual va a ser muy complicado a veces porque cuando tú quieras utilizar un verbo, te vas a correr la tabla. Y el verbo es lo segundo. Y lo principal es que te acuerdes primeramente del verbo. Es lo principal y lo más necesario. Entonces, es como si, como indicación para que te aprendan los verbos en un orden, no hay. No hay. Pero date cuenta que por lo menos ya hoy vimos 5. Vimos el verbo to be, go, buy, meet, y fuimos otros 2 que me escaparon. Ah, take and speak. Entonces ya vimos algunos verbos. Entonces, poco a poco, uno entre más lo utilice, más se los va a aprender. ¿Ok, Marta? Um, ¿Hay alguna otra duda? But my question is about the last evidence. Can I comment about my friend's activity? Marta, usa por favor el micrófono, la verdad no te entiendo la pregunta. Porque hay varias evidencias, pero no sé cuál es la tuya, la última. No entiendo cuál es. vacation. Ah, yeah, I got it. The last vacation. My favorite vacation. Anytime, anytime you can do it. You can read the participation and you can comment on their participations. No problem. You can do it anytime. So there's not a specific moment when you can comment. You can comment anytime. There's like a to have in there and like a have like a little chat. That's the idea. So you can do it anytime. No problem, Marta. Yeah, similar. It's similar. It's similar, Marta. So similar. You're welcome. Okay, so as we don't have any other question, okay, we're going to close the session. Okay, so I have to thank you for all your attention in here, and remember that you can have access to this recording in the link, okay, provided for this purpose. So please, in order to write and get a record of this, I'm going to ask you to please log out from the session. Thanks a lot. Te recuerdo que pueden tener acceso a esta grabación posteriormente en las online sessions. Para poder realizar la grabación de esto, les voy a solicitar a ustedes que por favor se retiren de la sala, a fin de que el sistema pueda crear la grabación. Entonces, muchas gracias y que estén muy bien.